Welcome back. Now, for the thousands of people living through domestic abuse, the pandemic has made daily life even more difficult. A new training course aims to provide hairdressers and other salon professionals to spot signs of domestic abuse and provide some support to those in need. And here to tell us more is salon business expert Liz McKeon. Liz, it sounds like such a super idea. It's called Shear Haven.
Shear Haven, yes.
Tell us exactly what it does and what the goal is.
Okay, so just to give you a little bit of background, Shear Haven is an American initiative founded by a lady called Suzanne Post in Nashville in Tennessee, where she linked up with the YWCA, so they're the women's refuge there, and they developed this 20-minute training to teach people in salons how to recognise the signs of domestic violence with clients and how to handle it. So it's just a really simple 20-minute online course. And I came across it on social media in about February or March one night at home, and I just did the training. And then I thought, you know, this is really useful. And in the capacity of my work, I spend a lot of time in and out of salons all over Ireland and the UK, and I have a fairly large network, and I just thought, you know, this would be handy, this would be useful to teach people. And so I contacted the sponsors and contacted Susanna in America, and and just asked could I be the ambassador for Ireland and England. So we just launched last week, and the response has been from the industry, and in the industry and outside the industry, has been absolutely phenomenal.
Why are hairdressers and salon professionals so well placed to spot the signs of domestic abuse with their clients?
Well, I think for lots of reasons, but the main one being that working in a salon is sort of a different environment, you know, to most other places, insofar as you have a very unique and special relationship with your clients. Like if you're going to the same hairdresser or the same therapist all the time, they know everything about you. You tell them everything, and as a professional, you're just used to listening and hearing about all these things. Plus, you just get used to observing and just having a sense around people as well. And it's a very safe environment for people, because if you are vulnerable, or if you are in a dangerous position, you may not be able to talk to family, you may not be able to talk to friends for all sorts of reasons, but your salon can be a lifeline. Yeah.
There may be shame, I presume, amongst victims in terms of speaking out, or, you know, a partner may have cut the victim off
Completely.
from friends and family, whereas they might still have this long-standing appointment to always be in the salon. And there's anecdotal testimony from stylists saying they've noticed clumps of missing hair, bruises from on their clients.
Yes. Yeah, so even in the capacity of my work, where I would be on site in salons all over the place, in different salons, week in, week out, you know, prior to the pandemic, I've often been in salons where a stylist might come in and say, I'm seeing a strange sort of alopecia here this morning. And then I say, oh no, that's not alopecia. That's somebody having had the hair literally yanked out of their head. Or I've been in salons where I've seen maybe the staff, you know, vulnerable as well, and having to explain, because I would have a little bit of personal experience and background in this, and I spot these things on site, and then I have to explain, which is great, to the salon owner or whoever, look, that this is actually what's happening here. So I have felt over the years a little bit at a loss, because I can deal with it when I'm there, but then you sort of think, well, when I'm not there, then they don't know what these signs actually are. So that's why I think the training is really helpful, because we can get to so many people now with it.
What is involved in the training? You mentioned it's a 20-minute one, of course, seems very easy, accessible. What exactly is involved? So
the training is literally Susanna Post, who is a survivor herself, introducing it and explaining it. She runs her own hair salon in Tennessee, and then the YWCA just take us through just the power and control cycle that happens, what to see, what to expect, and it's really teaching people, not, you know, we're not there as people working in salons to solve the problem, but just to listen, don't judge, be a lifeline. And we can't solve the problem, but we can be there to support people. So it's really teaching the professional in the salon just to know what to look out for and how to deal with it and what to say. We're, you know, definitely not saying to people, look, pack your bags and leave, or do this or do that. We're not there to solve the problems, but just there to be a support, be a lifeline, and also just to have, you know, the refuge numbers, just here, you know, just if you need it, here it is, here are the details. You know, it mostly takes people up to maybe 7 times to leave. Sometimes people never leave. So it's...
Also, latest research has shown that on average, a person will be in a relationship for 15 years suffering that domestic abuse. That
Yes.
is just too much time, isn't it, Liz?
It's dreadful, and so it's not as simple as just leave.
It's not an overnight.
It's not an overnight answer, and we don't have the answer, but the support is there. So that's really what the training is. It simply explains this power and abuse cycle and how many times people can come and go, and that's not our issue to solve. Our issue is there to be that lifeline, to understand the responsibility that goes with that, and to know what to say and what to do and what to listen what to listen out for, but most of all, not to judge.
You mentioned there you've experienced yourself of domestic abuse. Is that what really compelled you?
Yes, I think
involved?
when I did the training, I just remembered, and it's a long time since it happened to me, but I thought, I'm back there now, and I'm one of the lucky ones, I suppose. But I thought, for people now in the pandemic, it must be just so much more compounded. And, I did the training, and then for about a week later it was at the back of my mind, and then I thought, no, I have a responsibility now to take this a little bit further. There's something to be done here. And the really interesting thing about this is when I contacted America, this is now compulsory. This training is compulsory in 2 states in America. You cannot work in a salon in 2 states, Tennessee being one of them, because that's where Suzanne is from. You cannot work in a salon without taking this training. And the goal in America is to bring it to all the states in America, that it becomes compulsory. So
Wow.
I would probably have a similar goal for Ireland.
That would be incredible, because you mentioned there the pandemic, and the figures and the data shows it's just so depressing. A 16% increase in calls to Women's Aid on 2019 and 43,000 calls to Gardaí. When you see figures like that, it must just mean that something like this training, it can make such a difference, and it's needed right now, in particular in the environment and the landscape that we're in.
It's really needed. And another point to make is this is not a gender-specific problem, and it's always been there. And one in 4 women and 1 in 7 men, and that's prior to the pandemic. So that has really, really escalated globally since then. So we really do have to bring this out into the open and talk about it.
Are barbers involved as well? Would you encourage barbershops to get involved?
This training would be for anybody in the professional services industry. So yes, hair, beauty, nails, barbering, holistics, spas, everybody. Yeah.
And it's not a huge commitment. That's the thing. You're not
20
signing
minutes.
up for a 10-week course,
No.
on top of your daily life and work and all the rest of it.
Yes, it's 20 minutes. Yeah,
Super.
that's all.
And this certificate, hopefully we can get a little shot of it. That is what you will be awarded at the end of the module.
So you just click on the link. The link is on my website, lizmckeon.com. You click on the link, you do your 20 minutes training, your certificate is emailed to you straight away. And the point about the certificate then is we're really hoping, I might put mine in a little frame, not just for today, it's been in the frame since February. And and salons are great for displaying their awards for all their work and everything else. So we're hoping then that people will actually start to display them in their salon. So if a vulnerable person comes in and she sees the certificate, that she or he would know, well, this is a safe place. And then we're also asking people who do the training to put it up on social media so we can raise awareness.
Yeah, well, as you say, for so many people, salons are a type of refuge. So I'm sure this is going to help countless people and victims. Thank you so much, Liz. It's a super
all my
idea.
pleasure.
Really commendable.
Thank you.
For more information, you can head over to our Facebook page. And if you are in need of help or support, you can, of course, visit womensaid.ie or the number on screen. Now, Alan, what else have we got lined up this morning?